Good morning, student. I'm your Stephen sir from ICRA English Medium. Today I'm going to teach you Standard 12th, and book which I'm going to use is a Vista textbook. And today I'll teach you Chapter 1, the third level. So my dear student, today it will be a summary of this chapter so that you will get to know about this chapter very deeply. I am not going to read from the textbook. I am going to give you a summary. So please pay attention and let's get started. The third level is written by Jack Finney. There are two levels at the Grand Central Station, New York. So what is this Grand Central Station, my dear student? It's a railway station name which is situated in New York. But Charlie, the protagonist of the story, asserts that the third level to escape from the unpleasant life of New York to the pleasant life of Galesburg. Now I am going to give you a summary of this chapter. So our first main character is Charlie. Charlie was 31 years old man married to a Lucia. So our second character in this chapter is Lucia, who is Charlie's wife. Several times he had lost himself in the Grand Central Station. He always found himself bumping into new doorways and new corridors. Every time he had a new corridors, every time he had a new experience. He even had begun to believe that the Grand Central was like a huge tree, pushing new tunnels and new corridors like the root under the ground. Once he got into a mile-long tunnel, new corridor, like the roots under the ground. Once he got into a mile-long tunnel and came out in the lobby of a hotel. At another time, he came up into the building of an office. There were certainly only two levels at the Grand Central, but Charlie asserted that there were three levels. He talked about it to his friend. One of them was a psychiatrist. So here our third character is a psychiatrist who is Charlie's friend. What is psychiatrist means? My dear student, psychiatrist means who treat with our mind, means मानसिक रोगों के लिए जो डॉक्टर होता है उसको हम कहते हैं psychiatrist. So he consult to a psychiatrist who is his friend. The psychiatrist said that it was nothing but a daydreaming. So what his friend is saying that it was nothing, it was your daydream. He explained that it was only escape from his present life. The modern world was full of fear, tension and worries. The third level provided him an exit from it. His other friends agreed with the psychiatrist. They said that his stamp collection was also temporary escape. So, the third character of this chapter was Sam, who is a psychiatrist and also his friend. So, what they are trying to tell Charlie about that it was his daydream, nothing else. Charlie did not agree with them. He said that his grandfather started the stamp collection. Now, what Charlie is trying to convince them that he is not agreeing what they are trying to say. What Charlie's friend is trying to say that it was his dream. But now what Charlie is giving them one example of his grandfather who was collecting stamp. And in his grandfather's days, life was peaceful. He did not needed an escape beside. He's talking about now President Roosevelt of collected stamp. So now he's talking about whom, my dear student, at that time there was a president of New York. His name was President Roosevelt. So he was also collecting what? He was collecting stamp. Now one day Charlie got late from his office. This is the main paragraph, my dear student, so please pay attention. One day Charlie got late from his office. He wanted to reach home soon. So he went to the Grand Central to catch a train. He walked down to the first level and then walked down another flight of stairs. He thought he had reached the second level again, but he got lost. He walked down a corridor. He thought it was wrong. But he walked on downwards. He walked down a short flight of stairs. He thought that he had reached the third level. The third level was entirely different and old-fashioned. There were few ticket windows. The information booth was made of wood. So, information booth. Booth means, do you know what is booth, my dear student? Booth means there is a center where we can ask question. Means service center. So there was a booth was made up of wood. The lights were open flame. There were brass spitons on the floor. Men had beards and sideburns. Women wore old-fashioned dresses and high-buttoned shoes. The railway's engine was small with a funnel-shaped stalk. Everything looked a century old. He walked to the newsboy. There he glanced at the world, the lead story. What is world, my dear student? He went to whom he went? He went to a newspaper boy and he grabbed that newspaper. That newspaper name was The World. And what was written in that newspaper? The lead story was about President Calverland. Later, Charlie found out from the library files that it was printed on June 11, 1894. So this was a trick. What here we are trying to understand that Charlie is going back to the future. Future means the thing which is already over. Means he is going to the past. In this lesson, he is trying to say to his friend. And nobody is trying to understand him. They are saying that it was his daydream. Now I am going to give you the second part. So that was it was for today. Thank you so much.